Hi, everybody. Matt Harrington with Direct Application again. Welcome back. This time, we're looking at surveys. I did a blog post a couple of weeks ago. Part one was preseason getting ready in terms of SWOT, which you just watched the video, hopefully, on that. And then we started to talk about preseason strategic planning as we're all getting ready for our plans, hopefully for fall and the new year, is going into surveys. So a couple things I like to start off with. When we're starting to look at retreats and gathering people, it's so important to ask why and create a discovery phase, whatever that discovery phase is. So often when I get called to do retreats, they want to hop right into, the retreat. I want to gather any type of information, any part of data that I can, so that it's not Matt's opinion, it's not the president's opinion, it's not the CEO's opinion, it's not the loudest voice in the room's opinion. It's that we've collected data from the people that matter the most. And so part of the way that we do that is through surveying. In the blog post, I talk about feedback, three kind of truths about feedback. One being that feedback is a gift, which means people don't have to give you any type of feedback. And I think we know that by the small amount of people that fill out surveys. But when they do fill out the survey, when you do get that small percentile, that's a gift. It may not seem like it, may be hard pill to swallow with some of the information and data coming at you. But in general, we want to see feedback as a gift. It's voluntarily. People don't owe you their time or honesty, and yet they gave it to you. Second part is, don't shoot the messenger. Obviously, we wouldn't be able to tell who filled out the survey. But in general, I don't like that people, or we did a survey specifically with this group and they came back with this feedback. So now I don't like that whole department or that whole stakeholder. It's not about that. Don't shoot the messenger. They're probably honestly and preemptively giving you some challenges that you need to uncover, and they're doing it ahead of time. And so again, it's a gift and we don't want to shoot them for it, right? Finally, and I love this part. This part rings true for me. Decide what you want to do with the information. Oftentimes I get all the data and I'm like, we have to make all these changes, or we have to, we have to honor everything every single person said and do it. That's not the case. You get to decide what to do with that information. You've collected it, and some of that will be quantitative data, right? The bubbles, how people fill that out, and kind of at mass, here's what everybody's thought about that. And some of it might be qualitative, right? Which is commentary, which is open-ended questions. And so when, be careful about all that feedback. You don't need to take it all in and make massive changes to everything. You have to be wise and strategic about how to do that. The other things I go over is just 5 questions we want to be asking when we're thinking about launching a survey, which is, will this information influence any actual decision making? And the hope is it will. We're going to have a retreat and we want it to influence that, but we want to be committed to that. Do we truly need new data? Have you done a strategic plan in the last couple of years? Have you done surveying every year? Don't throw a survey out there to check the box. What we're trying to do in this discovery phase, right before the retreat, right before we start strategic planning, is getting information. If you already have information, you don't need to bother your donor base, your stakeholders, your customers any more than you have to. So use the data that you do have. Close the loop on any last and past surveys. So often we don't give results after our surveys, or we don't say thank you after our surveys. We want to make sure to do that so they fill out the survey again, right? The next survey. So make sure you're closing that. And then, and this part goes back to the feedback part. Be open to what the data says, even if it's uncomfortable. This is a gift. Instead of people blasting you all over social media, or not buying your product anymore, or not giving you donations 5 years down the road, the ability to gather that data ahead of time is crucial, and they've given you a window into what they're feeling. And I will say, and this is kind of the last part, the last tip that wasn't on the blog, so here it is. Giving a survey, doing a SWOT is a pressure release. Sometimes we just need to be asked, right? And so sometimes a disgruntled donor or stakeholder or customer needs to be invited into a platform and a vehicle in which to vocalize, the things they love about you, but also maybe some challenges. And it can get it off their chest. And in that way, they're not going to social media. They're not buying your product. They may say, hey, there was a folly there was a mistake there, but these people honestly took my survey, invited me to a SWOT. they took that information into consideration and they turned it around into something gold. And so the last little part about surveys is look at it as a vehicle in order to get people to give a little bit of a pressure release, give people an opportunity to share, and then use that data accordingly. So hopefully that's helpful. Tune in, share, like, heart, do all the things that you normally do. If you like this episode, we're going to do a bunch of them. I can't wait to hear from all of you, maybe in some surveys in the future. Thanks so much. See you next time.